Every year, the world plants roughly 2 billion trees. On the flip side, 15 billion are cut down every year. And if we continue at this rate, the planet that has been home to trees for over 400 million years will be completely barren in just under 200. This is why it's so critical for us to continue planting trees. As some of you may know, my family owns the local Christmas tree farm, Turk's Trees. And every year we plant about 10,000 baby Christmas trees just like this one. And ever since I could walk, I was out there with the rest of the crew helping out in any way I could. Everywhere you go, you'll find trees of all shapes and sizes. However, most of these are a couple decades or even centuries old. Today, I will be showing you where a lot of trees, well, probably just some trees, start. This includes selecting the right materials and prepping your tree, planting your tree, and then the proper maintenance to continue caring for your tree. Before I even start anything, I'm going to want to put on gloves. I prefer gloves that have like mesh in the back with a rubber palm. The mesh just helps with breathability so they don't get so sweaty throughout the day and just protects against like prickly needles and sap and all that. Today I'm planting a Meyer spruce. Now these are farm-only plants for landscape or ornamental purposes. A lot of trees like Meyer spruce or spruce in general don't work the best as Christmas trees because of how prickly their needles are, and they tend to lose their needles very quickly after you cut them down. So this is a Meyer spruce. Next, we're going to want to select a pot. I prefer, well, our farm plants in 1 or 2 gallon pots to start. You want to make sure they're made of a durable plastic with lots of drainage holes so your tree doesn't contract root rot. Soil does not really matter, just anything that can contain a lot of moisture. Shovels also don't matter, just whatever you have on hand. And when you store baby trees like these ones, you want to keep them in a cool, dark, and damp environment until they're ready to be planted, just so they don't die, obviously. Yeah, I guess now we can get started planting. Well, first you're going to want to prep the tree. Now this tree, it looks great, except its roots are way too long. So trees, when they have roots that are longer than 6 to 12 inches, can contract something called J-root. J-root happens when they get planted and their roots are too long, so they grow in like this upward motion shaped like a J, like this. And then when the roots reach the surface, they can contract root-borne diseases that eventually kill the tree. So you're just going to want to trim them. Maybe this one needs to be trimmed too. Trim them so they're nice and short. The next step when you plant is to fill your pot with dirt. So you're going to need to fill it about halfway to start. So I'm just going to dump this whole bag, maybe not quite all the way, like this. So it's about half full. So you don't want to fill it all the way because otherwise, like I said before, J-root can happen. You want to make sure there's plenty of room for all of your tree's roots to fit in there like that. The trees also have what we call a graft, and it's a little nub right here where the trees were, that's just where they were grown in the nursery, and you want to make sure that is completely covered in dirt. So I usually like to twist the roots around so they fit in there and tuck them in nice and tight so they don't get out. You're going to want your tree to be in there very secure, otherwise it'll fall out when the pot blows over in the wind, and that would not be good because, like I said before, we have a lot of trees to plant, so if we have to go back and replant all of them, that would be a huge waste of time. Okay, now that you have all your roots in, you're going to want to slowly scoop in. You're just going to want to slowly scoop in dirt to surround the roots like this. Now normally this whole process would take me about 30 to 45 seconds, but obviously I'm slowing this down so we can all understand what we're doing. So now, just with a couple scoops, I have the roots completely covered, and I'm just packing it down to keep it nice and secure. I'm gonna go and add some more dirt. You're just gonna wanna add until the graft is covered or until it reaches this outer rim or ridge of the pot. I'll just dump this in, make it go a little faster. Make sure you pause every so often to firmly push in the dirt. I like using just my fist to push it down like that. And just keep going until it feels like just the right amount. Normally I would tie up my hair so it's not so in the way of getting caught in the tree, but okay. Alright, now that I have all of my dirt, it is level with this top ridge here. The tree is nice and packed in, so when you shake it around it won't fall out. Our final step when we plant a tree is making sure it gets a good watering. Now normally I would use a hose because baby trees, you want enough water where the water is running from the bottom, but that would make a huge mess for this demonstration, so I'm just going to use this jar. You're just going to slowly add it. Don't pour it directly on the tree, just on the surrounding dirt. Normally in the summer to early fall, we'll use a sprinkler system, so we're not watering them all by hand, otherwise I wouldn't have time for anything to come to school at all. I'd just be watering trees all day. It's set on a timer so all of our trees get just the right amount of water, none of them dry out or drown, anything like that. So now we have a beautiful tree like this. It'll continue growing, and in about 10 years it'll reach full maturity. This one, like I said, won't be used as a Christmas tree. We'll probably sell this as a small baby tree like this, but Christmas trees take about 10 years. After my demonstration, I hope I have given you all the skills you need to plant a baby evergreen tree. Trees are essential to our survival, whether it's the air we breathe, the fuel to our fires, or food on our tables. I hope that if the opportunity presents itself, you will be able to plant a tree that the future generations can enjoy. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.